Good morning. This is April Bailey. Oh, good morning, Commissioner Scar. This is April Bailey from Nesco Win, and I'm so sorry to miss a meeting where there's people in the room besides our wonderful commissioners. Uh, but thank you for this remote opportunity. I am also going to speak about the library space proposed in South County, and Nancy gave wonderful arguments, and she's a wonderful member of our community that's really helped our libraries, and I really appreciate her. But I do have to disagree. As Nancy mentioned, we have a beautiful and very underused library already in South County and Pacific City. This library is 15 minutes from both Beaver and Nescoin, kind of the extremes of the population centers in South County. Books can be ordered from the main branch and other places, as you know, and delivered to PC or by the bookmobile in various stops. About the bookmobile already has numerous stops in South County and can deliver books, and I believe there's still a courier service. All of this is much appreciated, but begs the question of why do we need another library in South County? The other concern is financial duress of the county. The commissioners are well aware of the budget concerns of the county and is considering raising fees and possibly putting to voters a sales tax, although, again, that's just in preliminary talks. It seems that this would just add to the expenses of the county, even if it's out of the library operational levy. Again, this might be, and voters believe it will be used to increase that operational levy, something that voters are not interested in right now, as we can see from the 3,000 signatures collected in less than 3 weeks in Toma County concerning the transportation referendum bill. Voters are very tired of taxes and fees. What South County requested, and Nancy was at the library strategic listening sessions with me, is they need extended hours of the current library. That would fix a lot of any issues in accessing the library. And I did send to the commissioners the library's own reports about this, and it very clearly said that people are more interested in extended hours and more locations of the libraries. I would actually propose that the county consider offering a grant through TLT funds or some other fund, maybe directing to EDC, that would use the space instead for a private enterprise for children. I think that could actually increase tourist options in the winter for people who have children and maybe don't want to be on the beach all day, or there's king tides and they didn't realize it. I think this could be a great use for that spot, as it is a former school, I'm sure you're aware. But at this time, I would just ask that the county vote no against this letter of intent for an additional library in South County. And I thank you for your time.
with getting relief from state and possibly through federal government. And so they're in the process of determining what those thresholds are, and we'll have that. And so, we'll work towards that and seeing what we need there. And just from what I understand of looking around and hearing of what damages we've had up there, we'll easily meet our threshold like we always do every time we have this situation. And so, again, it's nice that we have these declarations in place with that. And so that's kind of the background on that.
We should probably take action on the business in front of us, and then I'll ask for the update on how
Okay.
things look out there. Commissioners, are there any questions or comments for Randy on the emergency declaration? Commissioner Bell, I'll start with you. I know you were very active in the emergency.
No questions for me. I support it. Thank you.
Same.
Okay, same here. So I would entertain a motion if you would.
Want me to read it in, Bill?
So we do read it in, or?
I will.
Okay.
It's gonna take a while. In the matter, Madam Chair, in the matter of designating a state of emergency within Tillamook County, Board Order 25-067, this matter came before the Tillamook County Board of Commissioners on December 10th, 2025, at the request of Randy Thorpe, Emergency Management Director. The Board of Commissioners, being fully apprised, finds it as follows. Tillamook County is experiencing a winter flooding event that started on December 8th, 2025, and will continue through December 13th, 2025. The county has experienced rainfall in the amounts of over 0.25 inches per hour for several days. Rivers within the county have reached flood stage and have impacted health, safety, and welfare of Tillamook County residents. During the storm, the county has suffered damage, potential injuries, and loss of property resulting from the extreme weather conditions. Impacts included power outages, road closures, forced evacuation, and damage to infrastructure. Such conditions present a clear and present danger to the health and safety of the citizens and property of Tillamook County. ORS 27B subsection 1 allows for the county to make emergency procurements of goods and services in an emergency. Now, therefore, is hereby ordered that effective immediately, the Board of Commissioners, under the emergency powers granted by ORS 401.309, declare a state of emergency exists within Tillamook County, and by this order directs the Office of Emergency Management for Tillamook County to take all necessary steps authorized by law to secure the persons and property of citizens of Tillamook County until 12 p.m. Saturday, December 13th, 2025, unless extended by this order of this board. The Board of Commissioners requests the Oregon State of Emergency Management to provide additional state and federal resources for any applicable disaster recovery program. The board further requests the governor to exercise her emergency powers by setting aside any regulations or laws that are contrary to saving life and property during this emergency by invoking ORS 401.168, subsections 1, 2, and 3 inclusively. This law shall go in effect if the governor declares a state of emergency for Tillamook County. Pursuant to ORS 27B.080, subsection 2, department heads issuing emergency contracts shall ensure competition for such contracts in a manner that is reasonable and appropriate under the emergency circumstances. That's all I have. Okay.
So I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I second.
Motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I will call for the vote. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. Thank you. So Randy, do you now want to give us just a brief update? I know I got a nixle that Highway 101 was now open in the North Corridor. Are there other, are our road closures open? What's our current condition out there?
Yeah, it was pretty dynamic this morning. We still had a lot of areas closed, but due to the great reporting and work of our county road department, our fire departments, both north and south and central, have done a great job in keeping us up to date of where we're at. But right now, I heard from Chris Lady that the Miami Foley is also open. But just because it's open doesn't mean that you need to use caution if you're traveling on it. So again, even though these roads are open, we need to still take care of them. So that one's open. Alderbrook, which was closed, is open to one lane. Of course, we just heard that ODOT has opened both 6 and Highway 101 going through North Main. Again, there's still water out there, so just be careful. Up at the north end, I talked with Chief Knight, and McCormick Drive, McDonald Dyke Road and North Fork Road is still swallowing up cars. In other words, it has still got quite a bit of water on them. That's up in Commissioner Bell's neck of the woods. And he sent me some more pictures, and it's still very, very flooded. And he's also sent me a picture of a vehicle that's submerged on that road. So again, with these closures, that the roads are still closed, please don't go around the sign. Water is deep. And that's the main thing there. And down south, I talked with Chief Ader, and he checked, and Resort Drive is still going to be closed. A lot of that is due to tidal flooding also. And so we need to wait and see what happens with the high tide this afternoon at 4:30 to see what happens there. But there's still quite a bit of water on it, which keeps the road closed. And until Mother Nature allows that water to dissipate, we can't even get in and have Chris and his crews go in and start cleaning up debris off that road so we can get it open. So estimates are probably another day or two on closure, which is unfortunate for those residents who are on that road. But again, until we can get the road clear of water, and of course, when between our fire district and our county road people deem it safe, they don't want to open roads until they are safe for travel. So those are our main ones. Looks like Long Prairie Road, finally, the Trask River decided to stop spewing water over it, so it is open. But again, there's going to be areas that there's water on that. Of course, our Fraser Road over there, Tillamook Road, is still underwater, so just be careful when you're out there. I know that there's a few people that are still fairly isolated. There's one friend, I just call it the Zog Island, because he gets surrounded with water every year and has some issues there. A little update too is that we did do some evacuations with both Misty River and then also the Tillamook Coastal RV Park down on the Tillamook River. And it's great because Cammie and the fairgrounds are great hosts that we open those up for people to be able to take their RVs when they need to do this evacuation. Chief Ader's been working with the Nesquin RV Park down there to make sure that they're safe and secure, and he's also made arrangements of where they can evacuate to if need be. And of course, that's with great help and cooperation with the Nestucca Valley School District and Ken Ridgeline. He's a great partner to have down there to help with these types of issues. So Weather Service, their briefing started now. We missed it, but I think I got a little bit of report this morning is that rain's, of course, tapering down, and luckily that atmospheric river is going to grace southern Washington State and central Washington State and kind of leave us alone here. So until the next one comes in a few days or weeks. So our moisture's down. We're still going to see moisture. There's still a lot of moisture up high that still will travel into our rivers, but the trend is that they're all trending down, and we won't see any spikes in any of our 5 rivers that we have coming through this county, which is probably more than anywhere else. And luckily, it's nice to see that the National Weather Service doesn't have Tillamook County highlighted for flood danger. It's nice that they've started to pull down those warnings on that. So it looks like we're through the worst of it. It's now time that we can do some cleanup, and again, we can start doing that assessment of damages and other areas that we need to start looking at. But great cooperation in this county from our local commissioners to our federal contingency. They're all aware of what's going on. They're there willing to help at any time. We've had Senator Weber and Representative Javity even attending our meetings that we've been having a couple times a day, and it's just great to see them. Our fire departments are exceptional. And our county road crew, Chris Lady, don't ever let him go. And his crew, they're tremendous of what they do. Cities officials, all our city, their public works departments have just been doing an exceptional job out there and keeping people safe, roads open as best they can, also helping those who have had some misfortunes out there. So again, just big kudos to the entire county. It's great to see this county cares about each other, and you can't say that about a lot of counties in this state. And this is one county that definitely pulls together, and I see it because I go in meetings with other emergency managers and hear the woes of their counties, and I just sit and smile and say, we've got the best county in the world here.
Perfect.
So anyway,
That's a
I'll quit
fabulous
talking.
note to end on, right? We
Yeah,
have the best
fabulous note to
county.
end on, and I will
Yes.
leave unless you have any more questions. And
I did see that Chris Lady had turned his camera on, so I didn't know if he had any additional other information that he would like to share.
I think Randy nailed it pretty good, but the Resort Drive, once the water drops, that road has a tendency to accumulate mud on top of it. So even though the water's gone, Resort Drive, we need to get all the mud off of it. It'll still stays closed after that. The post-storm event assessment, that's where we can't see much until the water drops. So once the water drops, we are currently going out there and taking a look at some of the areas that may need additional attention. So the post storm sometimes that's where it gets expensive sometimes.
Thank you, Chris. Yeah, I think it's one of those things to realize for folks that even though the water's gone, until the road has been cleaned and it has been inspected, you don't know if there's actually anything under that road to hold it up. So just being really careful and really thoughtful, and please observe road closures until they are actually open, because once they've been opened, we know that we've been able to check for safety. We just finished cleaning up from the 2015 storm and replacing multiple bridges and culverts and things that were damaged in that storm. So I just encourage people to have patience while we make sure we don't have similar damages from this storm that could create unsafe travel conditions for folks just because we haven't been able to get there and get eyes on it yet. So we definitely don't want to lose anybody in a sinkhole or a failing bridge. So, okay, any other comments, commissioners, before we move on this morning? All right, thank you both, Randy, Chris. We appreciate you and everyone who was involved in response. I think Randy gave a very complete list, and he's right. Tillamook County, when it comes to emergencies, does have a fantastic shared response. Okay, so we are going to move on to item number 5, which is consideration of grant agreement TCP-27-46 with the Oregon Criminal Justice Commission for the Tillamook County Family Treatment Court Program Services. And we have with us this morning, it says the Honorable Mari Trevino, but I believe we have Christopher Hamilton with us this morning on her behalf. So good morning.
Thank you, Commissioner Scar and Commissioner Fournier and Commissioner Bell. I'm here filling in for Judge Trevino, who can't make it, but we're just here to answer, or I'm here to answer any questions you may have about the Family Treatment Court. So it's been in operation for a little over 3 years. This is a Criminal Justice Commission grant that helps provide the supports for the participants in the program. So all those kind of wraparound services that help them build their lives better and get reunited with their children. So we're just here to answer questions and look for your support in this. I know there's been support for this program in the past, and I imagine that to continue. We are up and running again with a participant and have another participant or a whole other family that's supposed to be starting at the end of the week here. So is there anything I could answer for you?
Commissioners, questions or comments? Commissioner Bell.
Thank you. I don't have any questions, but I'm remembering when we heard from Judge Trevino on this last year and how meaningful the program is to her to be able to interact with people and to be able to measure their progress. And I've read some statistics and heard some outcomes of this program that it really is helping people to change, reuniting families and driving behavior changes that make people successful in their lives and their families and in the community. So I'm fully supportive. I'm all in.
Thank you.
I am as well, and I appreciate these kind of programs that have accountability, but also some empathy attached to them too. So fully support.
Thank you, and I share the thoughts of my colleagues, so I think we are ready for a motion.
Madam Chair, in consideration of grant agreement TCP-27-46 with the Oregon Criminal Justice Commission for the Tillamook County Family Treatment Court Program Services, I move approval.
And I second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I will call for the vote. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you. Thank you for bringing with
Thank you,
us.
Commissioners.
Thank you, Christopher.
Okay, moving on to item number 6. Consideration of an agreement with the Tillamook County Sergeants Teamsters Union Local 223. And we have Adam Collier with us this morning, I believe. Rachel, is that correct? There he is. Good morning, Adam.
Good morning. So yeah, we reached an overall tentative agreement on a contract with the sergeants. This is a first contract for this union, a newly formed union. Um, yeah, would you like me to highlight or detail the highlights of the contract?
Yeah, that would be great. And if you would just introduce yourself for any members of the public who might be with us and your role in this great project, and then give us a little rundown, that would be great.
Yes, I'm Adam Collier. I'm an attorney with CDR Labor Law in Portland, and I represent the county in its labor matters. And so I was the lead negotiator for this contract. The contract will run through June 30 of 2027. We intentionally wanted it to expire at the same time as the main sheriff's office contracts, which is also a Teamsters unit. It makes sense to bargain both of those at the same time. As far as the wages go for this contract, the sergeants had already received a wage increase of 3% on July 1 of 2025. And we agreed that they would get another 3% increase on July 1 of 2026. That we also agreed to move them up one range on the pay scale effective this coming January 1st, 2026. And then we agreed to a ratification bonus for these sergeants as well. Most of the other contract language is modeled after the main Teamsters contract, and so there weren't a whole lot of changes. A lot of this was status quo for the sergeants. One of the other changes, though, is moving them to the Teamsters health insurance plan, which is a cost savings for the county to move them onto that plan.
Okay, great. Thank you. Any questions or comments, commissioners? Commissioner Bell?
I don't have any questions, and I support this contract. I'm grateful for the work of Adam and the negotiating team. I'm really pleased for our sergeants, and I just want to say publicly how grateful I am for their service. They work so hard, and it's just they've worked double shifts, they've worked long shifts, they've worked so hard, and I'm pleased that we're moving in this direction for them to feel like their compensation and their benefits are appropriate to their service. So thank you.
Thank you.
Well, I'm excited about this. In my background with the sheriff's office over 18 years or 22 years total, this is going to create new opportunities and incentive for people to promote. One of the things people don't realize is currently have one patrol sergeant who typically we'd have two. We have the same staffing level we've had for 25 years. A lot of members, deputies were hesitant to move up because there wasn't much of a difference in pay. In fact, a senior deputy could be making more. So you're taking, and also our sergeants actually have a caseload. Some jurisdictions have the ability to not do this. So by putting them into the union, we're basically mirroring Oregon State Police does that. So it's not a new concept. Like Adam mentioned, we are saving some money because the Teamsters health plan is cheaper for us as a county. So I'm super excited. I already know that there's some deputies that are excited about moving into those new positions, and I think it's going to help Sonoma County and improve our public safety response. So 100% supportive and happy we did this.
Perfect, thank you. And I'm in agreement. And the only thing I'll add to that is that as we have over this last year done a complete wage and compensation study, this is another place where that work was beneficial for us as we were looking to say in this bargaining, what is the right wage level for these folks, and how do we make sure we're paying them fairly, which is inside the county's compensation philosophy. So it was just, again, you're going to hear about us talk about that over and over again, but it's a really important tool that supports this work and supports, in this case, our sergeants being paid fairly. So I am also in support. I think we are ready for a motion.
Madam Chair, in consideration of agreement with Sonoma County Sergeants Teamsters Union Local 223, I move approval.
I second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I will call for the vote. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. Okay, moving on to item 7, consideration revised Justice Facility and Teamster Sergeant pay table for fiscal year 2025-2026. Rachel Haggerty, Chief Administrative Officer.
Good morning, Commissioners. Thank you, Adam, for doing a good explanation of the new contract. So to implement the contract for you today are 4 pay tables that will conclude the rest of this calendar year before the January 1 change needs to occur. So the first 2 pay tables are removing the sergeants from the Justice Facility pay table. And as you know, within that employee group, we have 2 pay tables. We have the PERS pay table and the county retirement plan pay table. So first 2 pay tables just remove the sergeants because they are no longer in the Justice Facility pay table. And then the second set of 2 new pay tables add the sergeants to a new Teamster Sergeant Union pay table, and they are the only group on that pay table. It also, and this was informed by the troop work as well as where we landed with the contract, is this table removes the bottom 3 steps. So we cut range 2 out of the Justice Facility pay table, put it into a new pay table, and drop the lower 3 steps. But there is no other change in wage at this time until January. And it's ready for consideration.
Perfect, thank you. Questions or comments, Commissioners, on the pay table specifically? Commissioner Bell?
None for me.
I have none. Again, I think this will help with compression and other issues, so.
Perfect, and I'll just say, as Rachel indicated, that we had dropped the bottom 3. That is really looking and saying, what is the compression experience that we're having with our higher pay tables for those who are supervised by our sergeants? And how do we, again, keep that fairness amongst all of our employees and make the sergeant's promotion something that is really actually a benefit financially for the additional work that they end up with. So, perfect. Okay, I'm ready for a motion.
Madam Chair, in consideration of revised Justice Facility and Teamster Sergeant pay tables for fiscal year 2025 to 2026, I move approval.
I second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I will call for the vote. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, we'll move on to item number 8, which is consideration of a letter of intent to E.F. Johnson Company for the Tillamook County Public Safety Radio System Project. And we have John Hartsock, JN Hartsock Project Management, with us today. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you. And thank you for the privilege of allowing me to assist you with this significant project. A public safety two-way radio communication system is a critical tool for law enforcement, fire, EMS, 911, serving the citizens and guests of Tillamook County. It's sometimes considered the most important tool when you need that ability to contact someone. The county issued a request for proposal on May 10th of 25, to which 4 of the key players in the public safety radio system responded. Or showed interest in it. The RFP solicited a turnkey proposal, a little different than the way other counties around us have done that. It requires the responsible responder to provide a complete solution, including system design, licensing, site construction, radio backbone, microwave interconnectivity, security system, DC powered emergency generator, 911 center consoles and logging recorder system, portables, mobiles, installation, implementation, testing, and of course, training. So it's a one package approach to doing the system. The vendors were to provide 2 separate solutions utilizing a digital format that meets the latest criteria of ABCO Project 25 Phase 2. Don't have a clue what that means, right?
Okay.
It's the Association of Public Communications Officers, and it's a nationwide organization that's been around for years that sets standards, particularly in the communication area. They developed this standard in the industry. One was to be a VHF or 150 megahertz solution, and then the other was to be a 7,800 megahertz solution. 150 works better in the open rural environment, which of course a lot of Tillamook County is. 7,800 works better in a more dense urban environment. So it was worth looking at both solutions. Responses were received on September 25th from 2 of the proposers, Motorola and EF Johnson. Motorola provided the required VHF utilizing 18 radio sites. And I'll talk about radio sites. That's kind of the key of how you get your coverage is the sites along with other things in the design of the system. But it's a fairly key area and it's one with a fairly high cost to it. So we really want to watch that issue, that we know what we're getting into when we enter into a contract for these sites. Their 7800 solution requiring 23 radio sites, so you can just see the difference there in the two. And then they offered a third alternative, which was a hybrid solution of both VHF 800 with 14 sites. So again, that tells you a little bit how coverage happens. EF Johnson, on the other hand, provided the required VHF solution with 17 radio sites, and then the same thing for their 800 solution. We have a steering committee. Each of proposals were in excess of 1,200 pages, so 4-inch binder times 5 for them to go through, along with 40 plus pages of pricing information, as well as computer files demonstrating proposed coverages. This provided a real challenge for the committee. The steering committee, by the way, is made up of Tillamook County Sheriff's Department under Sheriff Matt Kelly, City of Tillamook Police, Chief Nick Troxel, Tillamook County Fire, Chief Todd Hess, Tillamook County EMS, Jackie Fox, Tillamook BUD, Chris Oftermeyer, I know I murdered that, Tillamook 911 District, John Spence, Tillamook County Communications Department, Ruben Teclo, Tillamook County Administrator, Rachel Haggerty, Federal Engineering, Dave Mortimer, and myself. The committee recommended the EF Johnson solution dependent on determining the site development costs for their solution. So the RFP directed the proposer to solve the coverage objective of 95% of the coverage area, i.e. the number of radio sites. Therefore, it was not prudent to perform exhaustive site studies beforehand, as we don't know which sites any of the vendors would use. As I said, it's a risk-prone portion of the project, and we really needed their input. Both of the vendors utilized some of the existing sites. We know a lot more about those, obviously, as well as suggested new sites. Prior to entering into a full contract, the committee really discussed the need to determine this final list of sites and for the vendor solution, and also need to determine the associated cost of developing these. So, and then after we've done that, we also need to be able to make sure we can lease or somehow acquire those sites. For instance, 4 of the sites that are being suggested are a nationwide site company that owns sites. That's going to take some negotiation that we get a public safety type of pricing versus a cell-selling type vendor. The RFP defines the process, which is attached to the letter of intent. Things like site access, existing improvements, geotechnical data, existing site tower structures, building usability, power, grounding, required site upgrades. Upon the conclusion of the site surveys, we'll receive a full report, plus they will go back and adjust their proposal for what they're proposing the site cost would be. So our requests of the non-binding letter of intent, and the purpose of that was we didn't want to enter into the full contract and deal with a huge change order. We wanted to do this preliminary step and to do this non-binding letter of intent. We're looking at about 70 days to do this work, and some of that will be weather permitting. If we get a tough winter, that may preclude us from getting to some of the sites. Once we receive the report, we'll get back together with the selection committee, go through that and the numbers, and then be able to present a full contract to you. For interest, our current thinking on timelines for the project is contract negotiations, March and April of next year, design and permitting, a fairly lengthy piece there. That'll be May through November of next year. equipment installation, March to October of 27, site construction by May of 27, site acceptance, October to December. There's a lot of testing that goes on with that. Training then, February to April, and current target out there is May of 2028. Obviously, if we can accelerate or improve these, we will, but some of it's just, it takes time, and these sites tend to take a little time to construct. We'll involve the steering committee and at all major decisions to ensure user input into this design. We will be establishing a citizen advisory committee to ensure accountability in the overall process. And we'll update the project website monthly so that it's available for people to know. And I'd be glad to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you. Thank you for your description. Commissioners, questions or comments? Commissioner Bell?
I appreciate Mr. Hartsock's presentation this morning and his expertise, and the proposal that he's outlined, it sounds logical to me, like this is the logical first steps, foundational work to move this forward, and so I'm in support of it. Makes sense.
Thank you.
I would agree also. We've heard wonderful things about you and really appreciate your involvement in this. Ruben, can't say enough about you. This is a huge undertaking, and I like that we're kind of taking this initial step first before locking into the full contract. So I appreciate that process as well. And I just want to thank the steering committee for all the work that's been done. This is a huge undertaking. I mean, I can't even imagine getting 95% coverage in this county. So it's a challenge with our topography, like you said, and the sites are going to be a challenge. So I appreciate your work. Thank you.
Thank you.
I agree with my colleagues. Thank you very much. We appreciate your expertise. As a small county, for us, it's just not expertise we can have on our staff. So we appreciate your work to represent us, to bring this to fruition in the best possible way. And this step of sort of slicing off this sort of most unknown piece and making sure we have that first just makes a lot of sense. So Commissioners, I think I'm ready for a motion.
Okay, Madam Chair, in consideration of a letter of intent to E.F. Johnson Company for the Tillamook County Public Safety Radio System Project, I move to approve.
I second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I will call for the vote. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Hartzog. I'm going to ask my colleague to please turn the air conditioning on because it's something that can only be done by a tall person in this room. But we're feeling a little of the heat up here. So. The heat? Oh, the air conditioning? Oh, yeah.
That was your election.
Yeah, that's one of Commissioner Fournier's jobs because I can't see the dial appropriately from my height. Standing on a chair is not recommended. So there you go, the important inner workings of how the Board of Commissioners work together. Paul is the one who turns on the air conditioning and
If
the
Rachel's
heat.
not here.
If Rachel's not here. Okay, thank you for giving us that pause. All right, we will move on to item number 9, consideration of an agreement with the Thermo Scientific Portable Analytical Instruments, Inc. for a TruNarc Delta Portable Narcotics Testing Unit. Matt Kelly, Undersheriff. I have Matt Kelly online.
Good morning, Commissioners. Can you hear me? My camera's not
Oh,
working.
there he is. Yes, we can. Thank you.
Yeah, for some reason I can't get my camera to work, but for your consideration this morning is, as you said, a agreement with Thermo Scientific Portable Analytic Instruments. We're requesting to purchase a device called a TruNarc 5, I believe it is, or Delta, excuse me, with a 5-year warranty. This isn't a new device. It's not new technology. It's been around for a long, long time. What this device does is tests substances, which will specifically be testing suspected illegal narcotics. And I'll get a little scientific or kind of go scientific geek on you. In layman terms, what it does, it's a handheld device that shoots a low-powered laser into a substance. And when that laser hits the substance, the light from the laser scatters. And I was always thought that was random, but when the light bounces off a substance, it creates a fingerprint that is specific to whatever substance it bounces off to. When the device then compares that fingerprint to stored data in the system to say what that substance is. So when we test a substance like methamphetamine or fentanyl or other illegal narcotics, it'll say, this is what we suspect this is, or it'll compare it. So no, this is baking powder, this is sugar, this is something else. It's not illegal. As I said, this has been around for a long, long time. We've never really needed it because we had field test kits that we would use and they were just as good. But because of fentanyl, it's much more dangerous for a deputy or a police officer to test those items in the subjects, because if they get exposed to it, it can cause death very, very quickly with a very, very small amount. This device allows us to test this substance without being exposed to it. The laser can shoot through a plastic bag or even a glass container and do that comparative. All this device does is get us a presumptive test result, which allows us to charge them and start with the process. The substance would still have to be referred to the OSP crime lab to get a final test for court. But it's something we've wanted for a long time. The funding is just now coming together with the help of Onision with the probation and CJC. We're using some funds from them to help, and I'm going to offset a little bit from the criminal division budget to purchase it because it's not a cheap device. And I think that's all I have, unless you all have any questions.
Thank you. Any questions, commissioners? Commissioner Bell?
Thank you, Matt. Thanks for the explanation. That is fascinating. I had heard about this, read about it, of course, but I didn't know the detail of your explanation of how it works. It's very interesting. I'm totally supportive. It's a great example of technology that will improve our efficiency and safety. Primarily, the safety issue is paramount to keep people who are doing already very dangerous jobs as safe as possible. So I'm fully supportive, and I'm grateful for people, Lieutenant Seaholm and yourself, people who've been working to get the funding together for this for a long time. We've been talking about it for at least a couple of years.
Thank you.
I echo all that, and as someone who had to test a lot of controlled substances with the test kits, this before fentanyl became a problem, this is wonderful for the safety, because just opening up those packages presents all kinds of health problems and everything else. So I'm fully supportive, and I can't even believe that we're getting one.
Awesome. Yeah. All right. Well, I agree with my colleagues, and I would entertain a motion.
Madam Chair, in consideration of agreement with Thermo Scientific Portable Analytical Instruments Incorporated for a TrueNarc Delta Portable Narcotics Testing Unit, I move to approve.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I will call for the vote. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. Thank you.
Thanks, Matt.
Thanks, Matt.
Thank you, commissioners.
Okay, item 10, consideration of a State of Oregon Department of State Lands royalty license number 63746-SG for shorecast dredge spoils located at tax lot 1600 in Township 01 South, Range 10W, Section 22AC on the south bank of Tillamook Bay, Tillamook County. Dan Kais, Director of the Parks Department. Good morning, Dan.
Hi, good morning, Commissioners, and thank you for the opportunity to be here today. So this really started to come up pretty much when I first got here. And, I'll be honest, is that when I first saw this, it's like, well, we don't need to dredge anytime soon. Let's just not do this. Well, that was not the right way to go. So after lengthy talks with both Commissioner Bell as well as Sarah Absher, I understood the importance because the original process to even get us in this position is a nightmare and very, very expensive. And we did not want to go through that again. So we did go through the application process again. I got a 32-page application submitted to them along with a check for $750 this last spring. And what's happened is we finally got the agreement back in order to have what they call a royalty license for shorecast dredge spoils, which essentially means until May 31st, 2028, we can go in and we could dredge. It's Memaloo's boat launch, by the way, for all those who don't know. And we can go in and dredge, and then we can put the spoils just to the north of the boat ramp. We haven't used any of that material. We don't have any intention to, but if we do use it, we have to pay the state. Unless, of course, what we do is we use it for improvement of existing public facilities. We have a hard time finding a place for dredge spoils because it doesn't necessarily help anything. We think this is important. We're going to do our best to, to maintain the access point for the Memaloose boat launch. We understand its importance, and this is a big step in keeping and maintaining that access. So I would, with your support, request authorization to get this thing signed and get it back to them. And certainly I'll answer any questions that you might have.
Thank you very much, Dan. That is an exceptionally important boat ramp. We found out a few years ago when we did not have everything in order and we were unable to clear that boat ramp, just how many people use that on a regular basis. We have our recreational fishermen. We also have our fishing guides that support our recreational fishermen. It is a very, very active, very popular boat launch. So I'm glad that you were able to find the right people to help you see the light to keep it moving forward, because it's like a couple of other things in the county. If it doesn't happen, we get bombarded. So thank you for your work on that. Commissioners, other comments? Commissioner Bell, please.
Thank you. Thank you, Dan, for your presentation and for your work on this. This is one extremely complicated aspect of your job, and I'm grateful for your leadership in this. And I agree with Commissioner Scar that it is important to the community that we keep that boat ramp dredged. And also I'll say, because I've been the liaison to parks for a while, since prior to the previous dredging, that it's also true that we may not even be able to dredge it forever. So when we got the last permit for dredging, it was for a period of 10 years, and they let us know then that after 10 years from now we might need to do something else, which would include the possibilities of moving the ramp further out into the river or the bay rather, because what happens is that the accumulation of debris, the accumulation of soil, et cetera, under the boat ramp, it just builds up too quickly. So we'll be looking also at long-term possibilities for how to address this problem in the future that doesn't necessarily include dredging. And it's kind of a hilarious aside that the dredge spoils are a valuable asset as far as the state is concerned, and we would have to pay them to use it when in fact we're hard put to find a place to store it. So thank you for your work, Dan.
Thank you.
I would say all that also. Just would like to point out to the public, like, we want to dredge. We would like to keep. In fact, I'm looking at Mayor Welch. We saw each other fishing at that boat ramp. Your husband uses that boat ramp. This is something that is so important. Dan's frustration with being able to, I have people calling me all the time. I actually get called in this a bit. Why don't you just take a backhoe down to XYZ and just, clean up? And I wish we could. And the irony is, this spoils this soil that we're removing, which, by the way, this yesterday probably brought a whole bunch more in.
I was going to say that too. Yep.
Is all this DEQ. But the funny thing is the disturbing it. They say it's bad, but what do you think just happened in the last 2 days? So trust us, everybody, the county government. We are grateful that we can do this. Thank you for the hard work in doing that contract. But it's frustrating for all of us, and I'm so grateful we can keep dredging and collecting that valuable spoils.
Sure.
So I support it.
Agree. And yes, after floods, you commonly have to go down and clear those boat ramps off again.
Goodness.
So yes. All right. We are ready for a motion, please.
Madam Chair, in consideration of State of Oregon Department of State Lands Royalty License number 63746-SG for short cast dredge spoils located at tax lot 1600 in Township 01 South, Range 10W, Section 22AC on the south bank of Tillamook Bay, Tillamook County. I move approval.
I second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I will call for the vote. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. Thank you.
Commissioners, thank you again very much.
Thank you, Dan.
Okay, item 11, consideration of an order in the matter of the reappointment of a member to the Transient Lodging Tax Review Committee. Tommy Stiber, Transient Lodging Tax Division, Sarah Absher, Director, Department of Community Development. I see both of them online, I believe, this morning. There's Sarah.
Good morning. Tom Stiber, Department of Community Development,
Good morning.
Lodging Tax Division. Good morning.
Morning, Tom.
We have a position that's coming open on the Transient Lodging Tax Review Committee. The position of the Certified Public Accountant, which has been held by Jeff Simpson, a CPA, prominent CPA in our community, has done a fantastic job for the committee. The committee considers a number of different things, forms, procedures, waiver requests, several different things. And he has just been a wonderful asset on the committee with his, first of all, his accountant knowledge comes in very handy when we look at numbers, but just and a man of integrity and good solid judgment. And I'd like to recommend that he be reappointed to a second 3-year term. And he has expressed that he is willing and able to do that. So I recommend him to be reappointed to that position.
Perfect. Thank you. Questions or comments, Commissioner? Commissioner Bell.
Oh, I'm pleased that Jeff is willing and able to be reappointed, and I'm grateful for his service.
I will agree.
I will agree as well. Jeff is providing service in a number of areas in our community. I think he's currently chair of the YMCA board, as well as I think sitting on a few others. So we really appreciate his willingness to continue in this work as well. So I would entertain a motion.
Madam Chair, consideration of an order of the matter of the reappointment of a member to the Transient Lodging Tax Review Committee. I move approve. To approve.
I second.
We have a motion and a second to move, approve, approve. Double approve.
Doubly approve.
Doubly approve. Any further discussion?
None.
Hearing none, I will call for the vote. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. All right. Thank you, Tommy.
Thank you very much.
Tommy.
All right, moving on to item 12, consideration of an order in the matter of a notice of intent to award a professional services contract for the Mill Creek Culvert Replacement Project. Chris Lady, Public Works Department.
So one of the reasons why we're withstanding these storms a lot better is because we're using grant money to replace undersized culverts or failing culverts with larger structures. Not necessarily always be a come a bridge, although many do. Mill Creek, so one of the funding sources we have is the Federal Highway Aquatic Organism Passage, a project which is primarily based on fish. However, it's great for our infrastructure. So we received another grant from that program, Federal Highway Aquatic Organism Passage, which is essentially fish. And we went out for advertisement. This is 2 culverts that are on Brickyard Road. We put this out for proposals. This is not bid, it's for engineering, so proposals. We sent out through advertising, we received 31 copies of who asked for receipt of the request for proposals. We received 4 proposals. At that point, we picked an engineer that was best suited for it. The proposal of Dow was the one that we selected. At that point, we went into contract negotiations on the price. We were able to reduce some of their fee. So this amount is $435,970.14. Effectively, county for the design of 2 bridges will be paying approximately $43,000 for design of 2 structures. So pretty good price when we can design something for 42 bridges or culverts for $44,000 out of county pocket. Request that you approve this contract or the notice of intent to award.
Thank you, Chris. Questions or comments, Commissioners? Commissioner Bell?
You're right. That's an excellent price, and I'm grateful that we're able to do it for that, and I'm grateful for your work. Thank you.
I agree, and I'm just amazed how many times we talk about culverts.
We should
Ms.
have
Kemp?
like a bingo game, right? Every time you say culvert, there should be something we get for.
Chris, I have a question. Is one of these the first one coming off of Long Prairie? That short corner, is there a culvert there?
No, so that was actually previously a culvert that got replaced with a larger culvert. So the decision on the sizing of that, the location of that, the angle of that occurred prior to my time. One of the things with that one is the restrictions that are currently in place by the Oregon Fisheries Department, ODFW, Fish and Game. They are now much more restrictive. So today I could not put something like that in the ground.
Okay.
So this are more like one of these will probably become a bridge, if not both of them. So, which actually is good because it'll carry all the debris. That these things look really big until we're in an event like this,
Sure.
and all of a sudden now we're carrying a lot of water and it's the debris flow.
Great. Hey, thank you for the explanation.
Okay. I think we are ready for motion.
Madam Chair, in consideration of an order in the matter of notice of intent to award a professional services contract for the Mill Creek Culvert Replacements Project, I move to approve.
I second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I will call for the vote. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, thank you, Chris.
Thanks,
Moving
Chris.
on to number 13, consideration of a letter of intent for library space located at 19995 Blaine Road, Beaver, Oregon. Donald Algar, Library Director. Good morning, Don.
Good morning, Commissioners. And
I see we have Kevin with us this morning as well.
yeah,
Excellent.
I've invited Kevin to come join and for this item. So I'm Don Allgaier, Library Director, and I'm joined by Kevin Schulke, owner of Schoolyard LLC. And I'm excited to present you with a letter of intent to develop a new library space in Beaver as part of a mixed-use development built by the Schoolyard LLC. This space would provide library materials, technology, internet access, and community meeting spaces for more residents in our county. The Tillamook County Library Board strategic plan for the library developed in 2022 calls on the library to develop more access to library resources in South County. This new development will provide an opportunity to create a space for community members to learn, connect, and grow. Because this is part of the library's 5-year strategic plan, we've been preparing for this opportunity. So thinking about staffing, thinking about the ongoing funds needed. As you know, we've recently had savings from a changeover in our catalog system. And so, you know, as we are moving forward, we're just keeping in mind that this is that there was going to be a potential cost if there is a new development in South County. So the library believes in terms of the ongoing operating costs and resources needed that we're able to move forward without additional resources, that we'll be able to do it within the funds that are generally or generously voted on by the members of the public in Tillamook County. There is the additional costs associated with some of the furnishings and whatnot to outfit the library. And as you heard earlier from Nancy Whitehead, you know, we will be looking at the Tillamook County Library Foundation, talking with the South County Library Club about what that looks like over time, assuming their support. I think there will be some ability to take care of some of those costs through private money, which is always good. Beyond that, I think we're just going to need to continue to be smart in the choices we make because it'll be a couple years before this project is realized as well. I'm excited for your consideration of this letter of intent and to hear your questions. Before that, I just want to give Kevin a moment to address the board about the development and potential partnership.
Thank you, and good morning. My wife and I purchased the old middle school in Beaver not too long ago, and we are very excited at the opportunity. What I've been saying is to move this deteriorating environmental hazard out of the liability column and into the asset column for South County. As you guys well know, it's very difficult for South County to develop housing, to have opportunities like this for people to gather. What's more, this has always been an important public space for the community. And even now, people still gather in the gymnasium. People still come around to the back to let their dogs run free. It's just an awesome opportunity. It's over 4.5 acres. We currently, this is very preliminary, but we're anticipating about 30 units of housing that will be appropriate for the local community. It's a very place-based project. We want this to happen for South County and Beaver and make it feel like it's happening for South County and Beaver. And to have the library involved, we're also in discussions with the Tillamook YMCA about using the gymnasium. If you can imagine being a family in need of housing, I can't picture a better opportunity than a place to run, place for your dogs to run, step over, check out the library, play some basketball. There will be parking for big trucks and equipment so people can own a business if they don't own a home. I think this is a very, very unique opportunity, and I'm super excited to be in collaboration with Tillamook County and the library on this one. Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. Commissioners, or Dawn, did you have anything else you wanted to share?
No, just I would love to hear any questions you might have, and yeah, thank you.
All right, commissioners, Commissioner Bell.
Oh, thank you both for being there. I'm sorry I'm not there with you in person this morning, but I'm so happy about this this opportunity for South Tillamook County and for the library. It's just thrilling. You know, I'm stumbling over my words because I'm so excited about it. I lived in South Tillamook County for 11 years, the first 11 years that I lived here, and up Blaine Road. And my son and I were library users, regular library users of the Pacific City Library, but it was a considerable distance from where we lived. And he went in middle school, he went to school there when it was an active school. And it was, you know, we would have, if there had been a library in Beaver, we would have used it all the time. And it's, you know, Beaver to Pacific City is at least 20 minutes out of the way for folks who live in Beaver. And so, you know, as Don mentioned, it's been on the strategic plan for it's on the 5-year strategic plan. It's been there for a number of years. The library board checks in about it. Don's always aware of this as a goal of expanding services in South Tillamook County. And the library has been looking for the right opportunity. And we've looked at other possibilities, but none of them were the right fit. So we've just been waiting for the right opportunity. And this opportunity with Kevin and his wife is remarkable because here they are making a significant investment in community and building community, which I'm so grateful for. I would be so grateful, Kevin, for what you and Katie are doing, even if it didn't include the library, but you know, all the better for everybody that it does include the library. So the idea of building community, a community hub of housing, library, gym facilities, it will improve the quality of life in that community and in surrounding areas just tremendously. You know, I don't think we can even fully anticipate how good that will be for South Tillamook County. And we commissioners have been talking about that for a long time, the lack of cities, the lack of city infrastructure, the lack of investment in South Tillamook County. So to have a public-private partnership like this potentially it's just a dream come true, really. And I want to mention, you know, the comments. I really appreciate Nancy Whitehead's comments, and we received several more, I think at least 4 comments, written comments supporting this project. So, and I appreciate Ms. Bailey's comments, and also as an aside, Ms. Bailey was talking about the funding, and so, you know, the library is independently funded through the taxpayer base, through the operating levy, and won't be asking the county for additional general fund funding for this project or any other project, because it doesn't work that way. And also, just as a quick aside, Ms. Bailey mentioned that the commissioners are considering floating a sales tax, which is not accurate. So, that's like sales tax is like waving a red flag in front of, bulls. That's not accurate. What is true about it is that in the county's budget deliberations, we have a long list of possible revenue generators. And some of them are things we are interested in. Some of them are things we're not interested in at all, but we have the list, and the list has been read in a public meeting. So that's true. But there's no appetite for sales tax whatsoever, to be clear. And this will be funded through the existing library funding, assuming it goes through. So I think there's so much potential here for good that I'm just thrilled about it. Thank you. Thank you all, Don, Kevin, Katie. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
I can't add much to that. That's pretty good. I will say, when you met with us individually in our offices, I was excited. I was glad to see. I mean, we were disappointed in the Hebo thing, but to pivot to this is pretty impressive. And thank you for your explanation, Kevin, because I'm even more excited now with the way that you describe it. I mean, it's this could change that whole area. I mean, it is going to change that whole area. So, both for the housing and also getting kids away from their screens, giving them opportunities other than sitting there doing this, be able to run around, get some exercise, read a book. I think this is great, and I can't add much more to Commissioner Bell. So, supportive.
Yeah, I agree with my colleagues. I'm 100% supportive. I'm delighted that Kevin and Katie are taking this on. When Kevin built the Kingfisher Apartments, that was a huge, huge undertaking, and he did that as well for the community. It was not something that was quick and easy, and he is someone who has the determination. He and Katie both have the determination to take the hard things on for the benefit of their community and bring them to fruition. So I feel really, really good about this project because I know that you'll just make it happen. You will figure it out, and we appreciate that about you. That's why we love developing local developers like you, because you have the commitment to the place. And as you said, this is going to be a project of place, which is really, really important. But I'm just going to use a quick story to talk about how important community gathering space is. And it's just the fact that the Whiteheads are sitting here is the right moment to share it, because many, many years ago, when we were getting ready to develop the child care center down in Hebo, I was a part of that through CARE. And we had a meeting set up to talk about that project, and we were going to use the local church, and somehow wires got crossed in the local church. There was no one there to open it. So we met in the backyard at the Whitehead's house around a campfire. I don't know if they remember that, but it really stuck with me because that lack of community space in South County is huge. And so the idea that the library will have a community gathering space as a part of what it brings to the community can really change the nature and ability of just even collaboration in the community. So there's so many great things I could say about it, but I'll stop there and just say I'm in support.
Yeah, I just want to add one thing. This is that kind of thing with the economy the way it is, the way the funding is. These kind of partnerships are just vital. And so again.
100%. We couldn't afford to go build a library there, right? I mean, it takes this shared public-private partnership, and it meets multiple needs within this community in a way that I don't think we could have hoped for better. So thank you for that. Okay, ready for a motion?
All right, Madam Chair, in consideration of letter of intent for library space located at 19995 Blaine Road, Beaver, I move approval.
I second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I will call for the vote. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for everyone in the room who came for that item.
Thank you.
And for your patience as we got to that item. I'm sure you learned a lot of other things that you may not have been interested in, but welcome to what county government does. Okay, item 14, consideration of an order in the matter of the appointment of justices of the peace pro tem for 1 calendar year, January 1, 2026 through December 31, 2026. The Honorable Ryan Cannell, Justice Court Judge.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
And I hope everyone's ready for the most important and complex thing you'll be handling today. The appointment of our pro tems for the Justice Court for the next calendar year. We have 4 pro tems, Denise Harrington, Dustin Johnson, Matthew Lyon, Dennis Wine. These guys have actually been pro tems as long as I've been in, so about 9 years. We have a good group, and each year we have to come in and get their approval. I'm happy to answer any questions, but pretty straightforward one.
Perfect. Thank you. Any questions, commissioners? Commissioner Bell? No? Actually,
I'm glad they're willing to continue serving.
thank you.
Me too.
Me three.
Okay.
Okay, I think we're ready for a motion.
Madam
I won't
Chair,
take that personally.
you should. Consideration of an order in the matter of the appointment of justices of the peace pro tem for 1 calendar year, January 1st, 2026 through December 31st, 2026. I move approval.
I second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I will call for the vote. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. Thank you, Judge.
Thank you. Y'all have a good rest of your day.
Same.
As well.
Okay, item 15, consideration of a letter to the Association of Oregon and California Counties Board of Directors designating Commissioner Aaron D. Scar to represent Tillamook County at the annual meeting on December 12, 2025. So you often hear me talking about going to different meetings for the ONC Timber, which is a federal partnership that we have where those lands harvested, the revenue comes to Tillamook County. We have our annual meeting where we will vote in our leadership for the ONC group, and because I will be going to that meeting on behalf of Tillamook County, I am able to carry your proxies in that voting opportunity. So the letter that is before you is to have you delegate your voting proxies to me. Any questions on that?
I am supportive. I'm grateful for you representing us there.
I would agree. Thank you for doing that.
Okay, you bet. Then I would entertain a motion.
Okay. Madam Chair, in consideration of a letter to the Association of Oregon and California Counties Board of Directors designating Commissioner Aaron D. Scar to represent Tillamook County at the annual meeting on December 12th, 2025, I move approval.
I second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I will call for the vote. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. Thank you. Item 16, consideration of an order in the matter of initiating the formation of the Tillamook Bay Fire and Rescue, RFPD, Rural Fire Protection District, setting the first public hearing for January 14th, 2026. William K. Sargent, County Counsel.
As prefaced in your comments earlier, Bay City, the city of Bay City and the Tillamook Fire District have submitted resolutions asking you to initiate proceedings to form a new fire district, which would encompass the areas now serviced by those 2 districts and would be named the Tillamook Fire and Rescue RFPD. And as required by statute, the city of Tillamook, as the city within that district, had to support it, and they submitted a certified copy of their resolution doing that. In anticipation of your agreeing to initiate those proceedings, we prepared a board order that's before you today for your consideration. Attached to that are an economic feasibility study, which considers whether the district could improve operational efficiencies, staffing stabilities, training consistency, and long-term financial sustainability. And it also includes a map that shows the area that will be serviced by the new district should it come into existence. That map has been authorized as being sufficient by both the Department of Revenue and by Ms. Wendy Schenk, the county cartographer. There were some adjustments made to get it to the situation it is now. So the board order sets out the proposed tax rate of $1.49 per $1,000 of assessed value. acknowledges how employees and assets will be transferred and how existing debts will be assumed. It directs that the notice, that there be a notice posted of a January 14 at 9:45 public hearing before this board where you will hear written and oral testimony and decide whether to approve formation. If you do that at that public hearing, there'll be a third public hearing forming the district and calling for an election. As you guys know, if you're going to go out for a tax, something that involves a tax, you have to take it to the electorate. I was thinking about if there was some criteria that you had to go through today, and I mentioned in an email to you something about, whether it would benefit. That really applies to the next hearing, but I think you could use that today to conceivably say, no, I don't even want to take this first step, but everything that's statutorily required to be submitted to initiate the process has been submitted, and it's now before you to decide whether you want to take that step.
Okay, thank you. Commissioners, comments and questions. Commissioner Bell?
Thank you. Well, I am excited about this proposal and grateful to the folks who've been working on it, like Dave McCall said earlier, who've been working on it for months, talking about it. It's something that the commissioners are interested in, certainly because fire protection is important for everyone in the county, but we're not in charge of it. And we have been talking about it for a number of years, about the current system of multiple small fire districts and fire departments, and how that model is inefficient. Everybody's underfunded. They don't have enough volunteers. They're stretched too thin, et cetera. So this is, in my mind, this is ideal and very strong leadership on the part of these two organizations to look at, would we be better and stronger together? So I'm fully supportive and grateful.
Thank you.
Yeah, I agree. And I think since today we're voting on whether or not they met the requirements, they have certainly done that. This is definitely trending that's happening in the fire service in Tillamook County. We have several districts that have merged, and you can imagine if Nestucco was separate, it would be difficult to manage. The demographics of volunteers is dropped off. It's hard to find volunteers. You have to, I mean, I see this trending just continuing. We're going to have paid fire departments like we do now. We're going to have to expand that eventually. So, I mean, I support the communities of both, the city councils of both cities have said, this is what we want to do. And they've done all the requirements, so I'm supportive.
Yeah, I am supportive as well. I think there are many small special districts around Tillamook County that you have fire, you have water, you have sewer, you have many different districts, and it's a model that is definitely challenged at this stage of the game because the districts are so small, because the cost of doing business continues to rise. The idea of bringing together two smaller districts so you have one set of administration makes a lot of sense to me. I think it's the move that we're going to have to see again in other districts that do other things, i.e. water, sewer, et cetera, as the future moves forward. So again, county commissioner's not in charge of planning these things up and, dreaming and doing all that work to make it happen. That is those districts themselves. But because these districts have come forward together, they've done a huge body of work. The cities that are involved are engaged and supportive. I support this as a commissioner to move forward into the process, to certainly hear from the public so that we are sure that there is, agreement from the voters, because that's going to be what's important at the end of the day, because this does go in front of the voters. Our decision today is to whether or not we bring it forward to the public for hearings, and our ultimate decision will be whether or not we put it in front of the voters. This is, as Commissioner Bell clearly stated, this is not our decision to make in the end. It is our decision to support this process in support of public decision. So with that in mind, I am absolutely in support. We'll consider, oh, yes.
I just wanted to follow up one thing,
Please.
kind of anecdotal. When Rachel and I met with Alan Christensen and Paul, the fire district chief at the time, like, I don't know, probably 6 months ago, Rachel, and we were going through, some of the steps that we thought that they needed to go through. Couldn't help thinking that I don't think we're going to see these people ever again. They're not going to be able to. They're not going to be able to put this together. And so to follow up on what you said, I mean, the economic feasibility study, the maps, they've engaged counsel. I was surprised when it actually came forward in the shape that it did. So it was.
No, they've done an excellent job. I went through their economic feasibility study last week and was very impressed with the work that they have done and recognizing that work, I believe, was done locally. I kept peeling over it looking for who was the consultant and in fact determined that it was not done by a consultant. It was done locally and I felt it was really excellent work. So, and I will just echo what Commissioner Fournier said. This is not a unique experience. My son is the interim fire chief in Jefferson County, and just 2 years ago, they actually merged their EMS and their fire in Jefferson County because of very similar issues, where it was just one of those spaces where maintaining, because their EMS was a special district there also, maintaining two separate ones did not make sense. So I think this is something we'll see more across the state and in Tillamook County where appropriate. So, all right, I think we are ready for a motion.
Okay, Madam Chair, in consideration of an order in the matter of initiating the formation of Tillamook Bay Fire and Rescue RFPD, the first public hearing for January 14th, 2026, I move to approve.
A second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, item 17, we had a long one today. This is unusual for us. Consideration of the Association of Oregon Counties Conference Product Tasting Donation Thank You Letters to the Blue Heron French Cheese Factory, Pelican Brewery, Tillamook County Creamery, and Werner Gourmet Meat Snacks. And Debbie Garland, our board assistant, was going to carry this. She is not here today unless she is joined remotely.
Hello, can you hear? Hi.
Oh, you're here. Good morning.
Hi, yeah, I'm here.
Wonderful.
I've been watching.
What a different view for you.
So this is part of the most wonderful time of the year when the board has the opportunity to thank these very generous donors that you just named. They sent us to the annual Association of Oregon Counties with some of their amazing products to showcase at the Wander Oregon event. As you know, this event allows participating counties to show off products and other things that they're most famous for. So specifically, I'm asking for your approval and signatures on these thank you letters so we can thank their very generous donors, Blue Heron French Cheese Factory, Pelican Brewery, Tillamook Creamery, and Werner Gourmet Meat Snacks.
Thank you, Debbie. Appreciate that. Commissioners, any comments?
I'm delighted that we're sending thank you letters to our community partners, and I'd just like to say that it's a great way to expose Tillamook County businesses to a lot of people statewide, and our booth is always very popular because those products are so excellent. People look for them, they come back. Tillamook cheese, of course, is known worldwide, but the things that we produce here that these partners are willing to share are really wonderful. And as a commissioner, I'm proud to be able to showcase some of the wonderful Tillamook County products, and it's just altogether great. And I'd like to personally mention that Pelican Brewery is now making sparkling water from hops, so it's non-alcoholic, and that is a very welcome addition, because a lot of counties bring their alcohol products, but not very many bring non-alcoholic products. So that was also a real highlight. So I'm grateful to all of them. Thank you.
I will echo all of that, and I will also thank Debbie and Isabel, our own Debbie and Isabel, for the work that they put into setting up the table and getting the. I did have to go pick up jerky for Debbie, but besides that, they did all the work. Despite being offered, and I know Commissioner Bell and myself and you, we asked if they needed help, and they did it all themselves. So I want to thank them, and I'm fully supportive of this letter.
Perfect. I share the sentiments of my colleagues, and I would entertain a motion.
Okay. Madam Chair, in consideration of the Association of Oregon Counties Conference Product Tasting Donation, thank you letters to the Blue Heron French Cheese Factory, Pelican Brewery, Tillamook County Creamery, and the Warner Gourmet Meat Snack, I move to approve.
I second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, I will call for the vote. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Motion carries. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you,
Thanks, Deb.
Debbie. All right. Are there any board concerns today?
Not for me, thank you.
None for me.
Okay, I will just share quickly that I will be in Salem on Friday for the ONC meeting that we just did the letter for, and then I will be out of the office Monday through Wednesday next week for an Association of Oregon Counties activity going up to Seattle. So I will not be at next week's meeting. So just a heads up for that. Okay, we are going to have an executive session where I do not believe we will come out and make any decisions. So I'm going to go ahead and read our meetings and announcements so people will not feel the need to hang around and wait for these important announcements. So the commissioners will hold a board briefing on Wednesday, December 10th, 2025 at 2 p.m. to discuss weekly commissioner updates. The meeting will be held in the Board of Commissioners Meeting Room 106 at the Tillamook County Courthouse, 201 Laurel Avenue, Tillamook. The teleconference number is 1-971-254-3149. Conference ID 866-914-607#. The Local Public Safety Coordinating Council teleconference will be held on Monday, December 15th, 2025 at 12 p.m. The meeting will be held in the Board of Commissioners Meeting Room 106 in the Tillamook County Courthouse, 201 Laurel Avenue, Tillamook. The teleconference number is 1-971-254-3149. Conference ID 155-858-952. The commissioners will attend an executive session on Thursday, December 18th, 2025 at 9 a.m. pursuant to ORS 192.660 sub 2 sub I to conduct a performance evaluation. The executive session will be held in the Board of Commissioners Meeting Room 106 in the Tillamook County Courthouse, 201 Laurel Avenue, Tillamook. This executive session is not open to the public. With that, I will ask for the statute under which we are going into today's executive sessions.
So we have two executive sessions, with the first one being convened under two statutes, ORS 192.660 sub 2 sub H to consult with counsel concerning legal rights and duties of a public body with regard to current litigation or litigation to be likely to be filed, and ORS 192.660 sub 2 sub F to consider information or records that are exempt by law from public inspection. And the second executive session is under ORS 192.660 sub 2 sub E to conduct deliberations with persons designated by the governing body to negotiate real property transactions.
Okay, thank you. With that, we will recess this meeting at 10:40.
That's perfect. Yes, yes.
Okay, we will return from our executive sessions at 11:50, reopen the board meeting at 11:50, and adjourn the board meeting at 11:50.
See you in 2.